Hi, hello, welcome to Venice. This is Giacomo, a guide here in Venice. Welcome you all. And I can see there Wayne. Hello, good morning, Connie. Good afternoon. Here in Venice, it's almost 4:30 p.m. and I'm about to take the boat to sail to navigate the Grand Canal. This is the terminal. Hello, Maggie. This is the terminal of San Marco. And from here, I will take line two. It's just arriving. The boat we should take. It is a beautiful day. It is. So we are also like, very lucky because this boat I'm going to take has the front, as the seats in the front. So I'm going to sit over there to show you even better the Grand Canal. So we are lucky because this is something unpredictable. You never know when boat has front seats or not. So in a moment, give me some moments to get on board. Okay, because I want to. I'm not rushing, but I want to go before the others to take the best seats. Okay, I will sit on the left side. In a moment, the man will open the gate to after the after people has. Yes, we say this is the boat. Let's see. Okay, let's sit in the front. So again, we are very, very lucky because not all the boats, the vaporetto as we call them, have seats in the front. This one has. So, and excuse me just a second, I want to put my stuff away before I lose them. Okay, so I have, of course, I have the sun in my eyes, but I will be able to read what you are um, writing. So the tour hasn't started yet officially. We have another minute before go, but I decided to use the other camera just to show you around while we are waiting. The service here in Venice, the public transportation system is, I must say, very good and very punctual. And I know this vaporetto will leave the terminal of San Marco at 4:31 exactly. So that's why I planned the tour at 4:30. Okay, for the moment I can't read much of what if you're writing anything because again I have you can see the sun is just opposite. It's very difficult to, but I hope I can see that the shot is good. And so now it's 4:30, so we have the tour has officially started again. I want to welcome you all and thank you all for joining this tour of mine. It's Giacomo here for you from Venice, and this will be a boat tour along the Grand Canal. I just I've just got on the Vaporetto. This is a nickname we give to the water bus here in Venice. This large boat, large but not so large because there are also smaller boats inside the city. This large one we call Vaporetto. It's like a small steam. Vapore means steam in English. So Vaporetto because they used to be steam engined. Of course, today most of them petrol engine, and but we also have some electric engined vaporettos boats. So this is line two, route two, Route 2 goes along the Grand Canal. There are two lines that navigate the whole Grand Canal, Line 1 and Line 2. Line 1 is slower. It stops at every deck that is along the canal, while Line 2, this one, is a little bit faster, so it's going to navigate the whole canal in about 35 minutes. If you are asking questions, so I'm sorry, can't read much. So I will ask you to maybe to ask me again. So the operator is going to start. Yeah, ask me again, maybe later or also at the end when I get off in Cancellaro. And here we are. Okay. Yes, the reflection down is very beautiful, but it's also tricky for me. Anyway, what you see on the left is the Punta della Dogana. Punta della Dogana, Dogana means customs house. In that low building with a turret in the front, there used to be the customs for the goods arriving from the sea. While soon after the low building of Punta della Dogana, there is the tall Church of Madonna della Salute. I did a tour yesterday just there. If you have followed the tour, you know already everything about Madonna della Salute. Madonna della Salute was a church built as an offering after a severe pestilence the city suffered in 1630. Okay, a few things about Grand Canal. The Grand Canal is about 3.8 kilometers long. But if you measure the distance between the two ends, the one we have just seen, it's southeast, and the other one is northwest. If you measure the two ends, it will be only 1.5 kilometers. So as the crow flies, it's the two ends only are separated by 1.5 kilometers. But you see, the canal meanders through the city for 3.8 kilometers. Okay, a few things from time to time. I will give you also more information about the canal, but also information on the buildings. For example, this building here is a building belonging to the that used to belong to the Britti family, and today is a beautiful five-star hotel, very old one. Okay, I still have a reflection in my eyes, so I don't know what if someone is saying or commenting on what I'm saying. I hope this is all right for you, but you will see that the canal has the shape of an inverted S. It's like the letter S but inverted. So it has two sharp bends. So you're going to see the bend, and of course the reflection will change. Okay, someone about this building here. Okay, let me change. I think this is one of the most beautiful. I mean, this one on the Grand Canal. It's called Cadario. While this building here, with the people on the terrace in front of it, it's the museum. It's a museum, the Peggy Guggenheim collection. The American lady Peggy Guggenheim, she belonged to the famous family Guggenheim. She bought this place in 1949 and was her home until she died in the 70s. Okay, the Grand Canal, the two banks along the Grand Canal are connected by four bridges. This is the first we see. It's called the Academia Bridge. Academia because on the left side there is the museum, the galleries of Academia. And the bridge you see now, it's quite recent because it was built in the 40s, 1940s. and it was meant to be temporary. You see, it's in wood. It was necessary to replace. Sorry, there is this. Okay, just a digression. You see, this is the deck where the boat should stop. But for the moment, there is an ambulance there, so ambulances can use these decks. But it shouldn't be anything serious because they are living right now. Okay, so the Academia Bridge meant to be temporary, but it's been over there for the last 80 years. At a certain time, it was reinforced with a steel supporting structure, and it's over there. And now it has become part of the sites that cannot be replaced anymore. What is the Grand Canal? In the origins, probably it was a river that ended in the lagoon. And then when people started to build their houses in Venice, it was like channeled, and people started people started to build their buildings also on the banks of the canal. So the bank look very they don't look very natural. Everything it's heavily built, but again, originally it was a river, most sure. Okay, sounds not good. Sorry, because when the vaporetto stops, it's noisy. So sorry for this. I didn't realize. Now it should be Now it should be good. Okay, I will get the microphone closer to my mouth. Yes, they do, Cindy. They do have, if it is necessary, they start the siren and lights. Okay, so the canal is not very deep. I mean, it's the deepest canal in Venice, but it's only at the most it's 5 meters deep. Average 4 meter. Gabriella, well, the water is not low. This week we have new moon, so we have tides. The tides are more visible. This morning, for example, the water was much higher than now, and tonight, later at about 10 o'clock tonight, it will be again high tide, but never not enough to flood the city. Okay, this is another beautiful palazzo. It's called, you see the name on front of it, Ca Rezzonico, and it's another museum, and it belonged to the family called Rezzonico. It's a beautiful museum on the 18th century in Venice. My husband fell into the canal once on a school trip. Oh, that's unfortunate, Julie. I wouldn't recommend to take to I wouldn't recommend to dip even one finger into this water because well, I wouldn't call it clean. So we stopped at another stop. You see, uh, not uh, not many stop as the line one. Line one. Okay, we are going to cross the another vaporetto. That one. You see, it's exactly like the one I am on now. That is the other line, line one, the slowest one. Yeah, Julie. But anyway, don't don't dip your fingers or toes into the waters in Venice. I absolutely don't recommend it. Well, they are never, you see, when the water is never clear because it's shallow. It depends also on the light, but the beds of these canals are muddy. That's why the water never appears clear, but it looks like a grayish, greenish, grayish. No, then it doesn't. It can smell in summer when it is very low. Have a look at this building here. This is a grand building, Ca Oscari. belonging to the family of Foscaris, and it's the headquarters of the university today. Okay, we are doing the first band. Okay, so this is the first band of the inverted S, and we are looking at another stretch of the Grand Canal, and we are going to stop here. So have a look at this long whitish building on the right. It's called Ca Mocenigo. All the palazzo we call them Ca. Ca is an abbreviation for Casa, house, because only the Doge's palace could be called a palace. All the aristocratic residences were called simply Casa, were called house. So it is abbreviated with Ca and then the name of the family. So Ca Mocenigo. And let me see if I can zoom onto the plaque. You see the plaque? Okay, that plaque there. I don't know if you can read it, but it commemorates the presence of the poet, the English poet Lord Byron. Lord Byron was deeply in love with Venice. Okay, you can't read. Yes, we are quite far away, so that's why I'm telling you. It commemorates the present, the stay of Lord Byron in that building. I was saying that Lord Byron came in Venice and stayed long, but he spent most of his stay in an apartment, in a flat, in this building here on the Grand Canal. After originally when the city started to be a city, to be called, when we could call the Venice a city, so there were enough houses built around the city. The canal became a sort of port because also sailing ships could navigate along here. Because in the origin there was only one bridge crossing the canal, and that was the Rialto Bridge. The Rialto Bridge used to be a drawbridge, so when there was a tall ship, so the two ends were opened and they could navigate through. And that was until the late. Okay, let me stop for a moment here because I want to show you this building here. This is another one, very beautiful. You see, it's a Gothic house. It is called Pisani Moretta, from the name of the family. Pisani Moretta is famous because very often it is in films. If you saw the film The Tourist with Angelina Jolie, it was filmed here. Okay, Rosaria said the Slavs were god to the Duke of Venice in the Middle Ages. They invented the sword called Schiavone. Yes, that's correct. Ah, you're called Schiavone. Okay, Rosaria. Very good. Yes, thank you very much for this contribution. So another a style that is very much in fashion is the Gothic style, and you can see the Gothic features, the Gothic elements on the face of many of these grand buildings, like the one I'm showing you. Okay, traffic in the Grand Canal is controlled, is limited, and so it depends on the time of the day, but not always everyone can cross the canal. The exception, of course, are the robots, like gondolas, like the one the gondola you see here on the right. Of course, public transportation buses and taxis, like the one here on our left. In the morning, it is open also to work boats that have to carry goods around the city. For example, they can navigate the canal in the morning. But again, it is very heavily regulated, and so you have to know when and if you can cross it with your boat. So, for example, non-traditional boats are not allowed in the Grand Canal. Are there roads on the other side of the building? Yes, no. Yes, Laura. Let me say something. Originally, the main entrance was the one on the water because people used to use boats much more often than we do today. So the land entrance was always a small one, while the water entrance was the grand entrance. But still, of course, they do have also a land entrance. Even the older buildings, they do have the land entrance. Okay, we are arrived in Rialto. Yes, it's the end thing that until 1 o'clock today, it was cloudy and hazy and very humid. But now sun has. So you see the Rialto Bridge now. I was saying that it used to be a drawbridge, and finally, in the 16th century, it was decided to replace the drawbridge with a stone bridge, and that it is the stone bridge famous everywhere. That was finished to be built in 1588. Of course, a stone bridge cannot be drawn, and so that was the end of the sailing ships navigating the Grand Canal. But it was also true that at that time it was not so often necessary to use large boats, large ships on the Grand Canal. That's why it was decided to renovate the bridge, and make a stone bridge. When it was decided to build a new bridge, a competition was held. Many famous architects sent their design. One of them was Andrea Palladio, but another one was chosen. The one you see today is the design of an important Venetian architect called Antonio da Ponte. That's funny because Ponte in Italian is bridge, but it was his real name. It was not called like that because he designed the Rialto Bridge, but it was his real name. And it's funny because in the end, he's famous especially for the Rialto Bridge, Antonio da Ponte. Have a look at that building on the right, white building you see. Can you see there are people on top of it, of that building? That is called Fondaco dei Tedeschi. I do tours there, and maybe some of you have followed one of those tours of mine on in the Fondaco dei Tedeschi, and I always finish the tour on top of the building on the terrace, where there is an amazing view of the city. So if you haven't, check my channel and you will see when I have my next instance at the Fondaco dei Tedeschi with the view. It's really breathtaking. The building is called Fondaco dei Tedeschi. Okay, Linda, I'm glad that you were with me. Okay, here it's an important stop, so the vaporetto stays longer than the others, but now many people have boarded, and so we are going again. That's correct, Satyam. Very good. Thank you. And we are going to pass under the bridge, so you can have also look at this large bridge and think again. This was the only bridge over the Grand Canal until mid 19th century. Thank you, Cindy. Until mid 19th century, there was no other bridge across the Grand Canal except the Rialto Bridge. Okay, we are, yes, you see the second bend, the sharp bend I mentioned before. Again, for those who didn't catch this, The Grand Canal has the shape of an inverted S, letter S. So it has two big bends. This is the second one. So all those buildings on the left uh, were the place where the courts were. Well, still today there are some of the courts, tribunals in here. Ah, well, Cindy, that's correct. That's true, but they are not. It's not very trafficked here because again the traffic is quite limited. So of course the pilots of these vaporettos are very skilled and rarely, really rare that accident one can bump into another one, but it can happen anyway. Yeah, no, they are cool. They are close. You were correct. And here we have the Rialto Market. Now the stalls are closed, but these green stalls are the stalls for the fruit and vegetables. While under this building, on the ground floor of this building, it's the fish market. And sorry if I move very a bit too fast, but I wanted to show this beautiful building on the right. This is the Cadoro, famous, beautiful. Cadoro means the golden house because originally it was completely painted in gilded paint, and so that's why it was called like this because it looked like it was made of gold. The canal, this canal is about 4 meters deep, average. The deepest point is 5 meters. Do you get tickets? Yes, you do. Cindy. You can get tickets if you speed. Of course, if you don't abide to the signals, there are signals, of course, both for the ways, for the speed again. So, Gabriella, the situation is varied. Some are private, some are public buildings, like belonging to public institutions. Uh, some are hotels. Okay, have a look at this. This is one of the few churches facing the Grand Canal because, as you have seen so far, it's mostly buildings like that used to be residences, especially of the aristocracy. Very few public places face the canal, and very few churches also face the canal. Have a look at this building here. This today is the casino, as you can read on that red drape. The palazzo is a beautiful one, is a Renaissance palazzo called Vendramin Calergi. Two names because these were two of the families who owned palazzo. Okay, now again the sun in my eyes. Maybe if you want to, sorry, I was trying to read. If you want to ask me more, because this is the last stop before the railway station, and I was thinking to get off at the railway station, not in Piazzale Roma. Well, it's not very much more, but because I wanted to show you something when I get off and from the land. It's better, so I will go slower than because you see it's quite fast. What is the purpose of the building with your rooftop tour? I don't, Rebecca. I'm afraid I didn't catch what you mean. Okay, Simon. So many people are, and Simon is got. Okay, and now I remember. Yes, I did. I did. He is quite a famous artist. Yes, he is. Equally. Okay, now on the right. Like, the building is used for. Okay, I thought you were asking why did I do the tour. The building today has been reconverted into a department store only a few years ago. And before that, it used to be the main post office, the main mail office of the region, not only of the city of Venice, but the whole region in which Venice is. Okay, here on the right, you can see the dome and the bell tower of a church that is famous for having inside the body of Saint Lucy. Saint Lucy and Christian Martyr. Her body was brought here about 6 centuries ago, and it's been here even though she was from Sicily, but her body was brought here and is kept here in this church that I've just shown you. Okay, so movie screen. What is it, Cindy? Movie screen. While Cindy replies, okay, maybe you are noticing that in front of us there is another bridge, and that's right toward that there. Oops, Cindy, maybe okay, because I understand what you mean now. It's there are scaffolding on the side of the building of the church, and so they to hide, yes, to obscure the scaffolding, they put some white, yeah, this white canvas, this white plastic sheet, and sometimes they also put some advertising on top of it that help funding the works. Okay, this is the third bridge we have seen on the Grand Canal. It's the Scalzi Bridge. It's called Ponte degli Scalzi or Ponte della Ferrovia because we are just in front of the railway station on our right. Okay, just bear with me for a moment because I want to get off here, and so I will answer your question once I'm, I'm just a moment, please. Just a second, stay with me. Okay, I decided to get off here so I can show you the final bit of the Grand Canal from land, and also because here in the at the railway station it's quite busy. The vaporetto, uh, yes, many people get on the vaporetto. Okay, so someone was asking, sorry, let me go back for a moment. Okay, Patrick. Okay, Patrick, I read your comment, your question. Actually, okay, have a look here. I told you now the tide is quite low, as you can see. So what was in the news in February, it was completely incorrect. I must say that even BBC reported that piece of news, but it was only a matter of very low tides. We had high air pressure, very high air pressure in February. Consequently, the tides were very low. That's why the canals, the small canals, went dry. But it didn't depend on the drought. It only depended on the low, very low tides. So to repair buildings, if it is necessary, they put some barriers in the bed of the canals, so they dry up the part of the building, of the foundation they want to repair. So it is, since you cannot predict, you cannot forecast such very low tides, when it is necessary to make works, they do this way. So, and this can be done especially in the minor canals. Of course, it is sometimes necessary also in the Grand Canal, but you can they know the solution how to dry up the part that it's the needed where maintenance is needed. Okay. No, don't be sorry, Patrick. I didn't say that before. I only wanted to point out that this piece of news that the canals were dry was incorrect, because it was said that it was to the drought the cause, but while it was not, it was a very low tide. Okay, yes. If you mean this, Cindy, if you mean this, yes, they are gutter to collect the rainwater. Uh, so, okay, what I wanted to show is this final part of the canal and the fourth bridge on the Grand Canal. So until a few years ago, we only had three bridges: the Rialto Bridge, the Accademia Bridge, and the one you just saw in front of the railway station. But only it was about 15 years ago, a fourth bridge was built. It's a very modern bridge. Someone still criticizes it for being too modern, but I think it's a beautiful piece of architecture. Okay, Jeff, yes, they can be anticipated. You can anticipate the astronomical tides. Astronomical tides. So when new or full moon is, you have a certain height of the level of the water level. But it also depends on weather, and this can be anticipated only a few days before. And weather means air pressure and winds. So it depends also on this, the height of the level of the water level. So I hope I was clear enough. Okay, there are works here, so let's go on the other side, because I was saying something about this bridge. Okay, you see, this is the fourth bridge that was opened 15 years ago. It was designed by Spanish architect Santiago Calatrava. It's completely, the supporting structure is in steel. I will show it to you. But you see, the architect also chose some typical materials from Venice, used in Venice, like this parapet in glass. The white stone you see here along the rim of the bridge, it's another stone. It's a stone that is typical of Venice, very much used in Venice, called Istrian stone. And the steps of the bridge. Oops, there is a large seagull. Yeah, it looks threatening. What was I saying? Yes. Okay, I have to go away because there are the seagulls. Really scary. Um, and also these gray stones you see on the floor of the steps. This is another typical material used in Venice for flooring. It's a volcanic stone called trachyte. Okay, I missed something. Thank you. We had a beautiful Venice and traveled on water taxi. Lovely. Okay, thank you. And Linda, yes, bear with me because I want to show you also the belly of the bridge, which I think is beautiful. Nobody comes here to have a look at it. But if you love architecture, this is really great piece. And you see, it's completely in steel, painted red, and like in many cases of Santiago Calatrava's architecture, it looks like a giant rib cage of an animal. So the supporting the supporting structure is in steel. What you see while walking on top of it is glass and trachyte, the gray stones. But have a look here. Okay, some of the steps are in glass, and you can see there the feet of the people that are walking on top of us. Yes, Helen, exactly. So some of the bridge, that's why you can see through almost. You can see there, they are in glass, and those are the feet of the people. So this is actually the end. This bridge, we can say it marks the end of the Grand Canal, and we are where today's main entrances to the city are. And I mean the railway station that is on my back, and the car terminal, bus terminal over there in Piazzale Roma. Okay, there is a long. While living in base in the late Leonardo da Vinci devised the attached idea to. Okay, I didn't know. Okay, Natasha, thank you. Thank you, Don, for the comments. And what else? Yes, that's all. We navigated almost the whole of the 3.8 kilometers of the Grand Canal. But thank you very much for your comments. Thank you very, very much. Sorry if I didn't acknowledge everyone with the tips, but again, I was very busy with moving around. And you saw the vaporetto is quite fast, and there are so many things to see along the Grand Canal that it's worth to go at least 2 or 3 times by vaporetto. So thank you very much. Let me send you a proper hello. Here I am. And thanks, Karen, for the comment. Again, thank you very much for the tips and the comments and the company. Also, thank you for the questions. You know, when there are questions, it becomes funnier. This is my first tour with you. Thank you very much. Okay, so who was that? Michelle, thank you for the comment. So, just if you are not yet, thank you, Natasha. Thank you, grazie, Wayne. If you are not a follower of my channel, please become one. Just follow. Click on the follow button. And if you have time, if you wish, if you like the tour very much, so if you wish, you can leave a review. This helps a lot in attracting more people in my future tours. Also, I wanted just to remind you that I have another tour. This is a new tour I'm doing tomorrow night at about 10:45, I guess, Italian time, because high tide is forecast. And so I want to go to Piazza San Marco and show you how water comes out of the floor and floods the piazza. So again, if you want to join this tour tomorrow, I will see you there. Thank you very much again. Grazie, grazie molte. Ciao, arrivederci. Bye bye. Thank you. Ciao.